Hi guys, my name is Akshay and I am a manifestation coach. All my contact info is in the description. Today we are going to talk about how to manifest successfully. If you're experiencing a lot of negative feelings, emotions, anxiety, negative thoughts, so manifestation is equal to living in the end. Living in the end is equal to feeling very relaxed, feeling very aligned, feeling as if you've already received your manifestation. But it's difficult to land in that feeling when you have like a mountain of anxiety, okay, when you're experiencing acute negative emotions and constantly crying and feeling lonely, sad, depressed. Then how do you actually pull yourself out of that state and live in the end successfully so that you get your manifestation? Okay, no matter how difficult it may seem in the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to explain this properly. Okay, so pay attention here. Okay, I'm going to use the classical example. Okay, Neville Goddard example, the classical example. Neville Goddard hadn't been home for 12 years. Okay, he left home when he was 16 years old and he went to New York. Okay, and he stayed there for 12 years and hadn't been home. I mean, all these years he hadn't seen his family. And when he was 28 years old, so after 12 years after he left home, he had a very burning desire to visit his family for Christmas. Okay, so obviously he was feeling lonely, he was missing his family, he had no money, he had no proper place to live, he had no food. Everything was bleak for him. All right, it wasn't looking good for him. He was so desperate that he in his own words, he said that he would have danced. He was a dancer, that he would have danced for a meal. That is how that is how deplorable his situation was. Okay, and when he told his friend that he wanted to go to Barbados, that he had this burning desire, that he missed his family very much and wanted to be home for Christmas, Abdullah told him, "You are now in Barbados." That's it. Neville, he tried visualizing and he did that for a few weeks and he came back to Abdullah complaining and whining that, "Oh my God, Abdullah, the last ship to Barbados for this season leaves next week. If I'm not on that ship, I can't go home." And Abdullah was having none of it. He was like, "You are not going to Barbados. You are now already in Barbados." And he slammed the door on Neville's face when he tried whining and complaining more. Okay. So what this tells us is that manifestation is more about intense imagination and assumption than it is about the management of negative emotions. Okay, I hope you're paying attention here. Okay, so I'll repeat myself one more time. What this classical example tells us is that manifestation is more about assumption, which means believing without proof. It is more about assumption, and it is all about intense imagination and illogical confidence than it is about the management of negative emotions. Okay, management of negative emotions, it is important. Okay, and I've always kept the two very separate. I always recommend to not connect the success of your manifestation with your negative emotions and anxiety and all that. Okay, because your negative emotions, they can be fixed separately. Okay, do not assume that like I will feel normal again in my life only when this manifestation shows up in the 3D. Okay, I've always kept them two separate. Okay, but what the classical example teaches us is that manifestation is about imagining intensely. Okay, rather than, sitting down dissecting every single one of your negative beliefs, there is a branch of science, which does that, and I have tremendous respect for them because they help many people get through negative emotions. But manifestation is more about assumption, which by definition means belief without proof. And imagining intensely, it is an illogical process. It's illogical, confident. How can somebody be in Barbados when they are standing in their friend's room in New York? And their friend is telling them, you are now in Barbados, and slamming the door on their face. Okay, so manifestation, even Neville Goddard, okay, when he narrates his stories about successful manifestations, he rarely talks about the management of negative emotions. And sometimes people came to Neville, very depressed and sad. And he taught them to imagine intensely, okay, to shut out the outside world and to imagine intensely. And he has a beautiful quote regarding this that I'm going to read out. You must experience in imagination what you would experience in reality if you had achieved your goal. For the soul, imagining itself into a situation takes on the results of that imaginary act. What I have also experienced in my own life and by working with so many people, hundreds of them, is that when you shut the door of your consciousness to the outside world, you stop letting the outside world dictate your thoughts and really start using imagination to create reality. When you actually shut the door to the evidence of your external reality, okay, to the evidence of your senses, and you learn to go within you, okay, and setting yourself free from all the limitations of the outside world, you begin to imagine with intensity and really begin to enjoy your manifestation. Okay, but via visualization or affirmations, okay, whatever, you begin to enjoy your manifestation. Okay, the feeling of alignment, the feeling of relaxation, the feeling of already having received it is born within you even before the manifestation shows up in the external world. Okay, let me repeat that. When you imagine by setting yourself free from all the limitations of your external circumstances, from what happened before, what is happening now, when you set yourself free from this and really dive within and imagine and really enjoy your affirmations and your visualizations, what it does is it creates that feeling of relaxation, peace, tranquility, sometimes excitement, celebration, jubilation, joy, that sense of accomplishment. That feeling is born within you even before the manifestation shows up in your external reality. And when you are feeling a certain way, all your thoughts flow from there. When you are feeling afraid, it's like you're having thousands of negative thoughts. Okay, when you're feeling anxious, it's like almost as if they're coming in unmanageable quantities. And the stupid advice that I see being doled out in the manifestation community is just flip the thought. Okay, so if, for example, your SP ghosted you, you're like, my SP is obsessed with me, my SP is obsessed with me. And flip the thought, you're thinking my SP is ghosting me, and you're like, no, he's obsessed with me, he's obsessed with me. And yes, obviously, you have to flip your thoughts, the negative ones, but anxiety is not a thought. Depression is not a thought. Fear is not a thought. It happens in the mind plus body. It is a psychosomatic experience. It's not a thought. Fear happens so fast within you, like it's instantaneous. It's not a thought. Anxiety is not a thought. Insecurity is not a thought. Feeling not good enough is not a simple thought that you can flip. So I tell you, okay, to shut it out, okay, free yourself from the limitations and just keep on assuming, and the feeling within you will flip. And once the feeling flips, all the thoughts associated with that new feeling, that feeling of abundance, that feeling of fulfillment will flow within you. Okay, so I hope this makes sense to you. Okay, I have never seen, Neville Goddard has so many success stories, right? And I have never seen him talk about, you have to, manage your emotions, blah, 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 blah. He just tells them directly to go to the end. Abdullah didn't tell Neville, you know what? I know it's bad for you and the Great Depression and you're feeling very sad now and you're missing your family. You have to first learn to control your feelings, Neville. He's like, you are now in Barbados. Go straight to the end. Okay, with respect to your manifestation, if you want to address the negative, and the feelings will fall into place via persistent assumption and imagination. Okay, but you can also have a separate practice to tackle these negative feelings. That is not bad. Okay, and there are many practices, like some of them are like, don't just sit in one place and like a couch potato and cry all day. Okay, and it's okay to cry. I mean, crying actually is a natural process that helps you to release stress and all that. But I've seen many people, they just recline into their cave and they don't socialize. They don't do anything when they're feeling sad. Like for weeks and months, they're very reclusive. Don't do that, perhaps. Okay. But most importantly is that you have to have that conviction that I am a conscious creator. I am the boss of my life and I am going to decide what stays in my reality and what doesn't stay in my reality. You have your room, okay? And you don't let, at least most normal people, they don't let, piles of garbage just stay in the room. They take the trash out once in a while, all right? Or at least once in a while, preferably every day. They decide what stays in their room. Similarly, in your headspace, you have to be the boss and you have to decide, I am going to allow this, I am not going to allow this. My confidence, this is good for me. I like this, I'm going to allow this. My anxiety, my fears, my negative thoughts, bad for me. Out. Slam the door on your negative thoughts, emotions, feelings. Really, you have to first intellectually, you have to acknowledge that these are not good for me. My fear is absolutely very debilitating. And this is bad for me. And I don't want it. So out from my reality. Okay. You have to have that kind of conviction within you that I'm not going to be so stupid that I'm to allow my own negative thoughts to tell me I can't get what I want and to betray me and be disloyal to me. I'm not going to allow my own fear to intimidate me because that is stupid. Okay, so you have to learn to slam the door on your negativity, man. Okay, really. And persistently assume that you have what you want. Okay, and cultivate that illogical confidence within you. Of course, there is more to this topic than I have said in the video. And if you like for me to personally help you to deal with negative emotions and to live in the end successfully so that you get your manifestation, then all my contact info is in the description. I hope that you derived some value from this video. Okay, I hope that it was beneficial for you. If you liked the video, please hit like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, unleash the power within you. And remember that if I said it, I already did it. Thank you.